Hey, hey, welcome back, Scorpios. All right, Scorpios, let's take a look at what Scorpio doesn't see coming. Scorpios, this is your first video of the week. I'm sorry, I got a little behind with other Christmas endeavors and work and all these other things that happened, but you guys will be getting another video before the weekend is through. So today is Thursday as I'm recording this, so probably around Sunday is when you guys get your second one of the week. I always try to give you 2 each week. All right, here we go. We start with the Judgment in the reverse and the Nine of Swords upright. Excuse me. Judgment in the reverse is giving me the vibes of this looks like an unexpected and stressful separation could be what's on the horizon. Now, this could be something that Scorpio finds out someone else is going through, or it could be their own unexpected situation. King of Wands, Seven of Pentacles. Is this about to get even more unexpected? Because we have somebody driving, okay, but this is somebody whose heart is full, and this is somebody who's got this really wonderful, opinion about, like, okay, I see my path now. We may have a King of Wands that is about to enter into Scorpio's life, but first Scorpio goes through an upheaval or some kind of I thought I was going to reconcile with someone and there is no reconciliation and it's over and it's really stressful. But then the very next duo of cards says, thank God that other person got out of the way because we got this hottie driving in his sports car. Hang on, let me take a closer look. That Judgment card with the Nine of Swords, tell me about that. Queen of Swords, Nine of Cups, 10 of Wands, Ace of Wands. It really does look like this could be something Scorpio was expecting. Like, I don't know if this is going to be a breakup while Scorpio's like, oh, I had a work thing or I had a trip or, I was, enjoying my life and I was doing what I needed to do. But I thought everything was fine. And then I find out, oh no, actually that bothered somebody. They withdraw. They decide they can't handle my busy life, my busy schedule. It could be that someone is ending things with Scorpio because they feel like Scorpio didn't carve out enough time in their busy life for them. And again, this could be a very big surprise. But if this is somebody who'd been maybe also struggling in other ways, like just not feeling important enough, or maybe they were even with Scorpio for the wrong reasons, or trying to patch things up with Scorpio for the wrong reasons. The thing is, although we see first the stress of this, the stress of like, okay, I guess they're out of my life then, it does seem like either this person is going to, I'm sorry to say it, but almost like try to say, Scorpio's so good without me, they're so happy without me, I don't really have a place in their life. And that could be particularly disappointing to Scorpio, where it's like, why would they even say that? Like, look, it feels like it's somebody who more or less, if leaving a connection would make them feel lighter and brighter, then maybe that's exactly what they need to do. If they're finding another reason that they need to be single, by all means, instead of becoming the scapegoat, let him go and be like, if my happiness is somehow what makes them unhappy, that I would argue that might not be a great partner. If it's like, well, you're so happy and that makes me unhappy, so I should just walk away. I don't know that I would have liked that character for our Scorpio anyway, because wouldn't we want someone to be happy? I mean, maybe they just miss Scorpio and Scorpio has a really full life and they're like, Scorpio travels for work or they do different things or they are taking a family trip, but I'm not with them and it just, I'm breaking up. It could be that they don't like something, but this was already a troubled scenario in this storyline. So even though it says what Scorpio doesn't see coming, I don't know that Scorpio is really going to stay that heartbroken over this. And then we have a change in energy flow. We have something or somebody else coming in. So if an individual is exiting Scorpio's life because they are finding a reason that it's not working for them, they have every right to do that, of course. Can I find out what this King of Wands with the Seven of Pentacles is? 10 of Wands and the Devil sideways. I'm going to say what Scorpio would not expect is that, because maybe they really were thinking, oh my God, this is so painful. I mean, I thought my person in this and myself, we were going to be good. And instead we're breaking up. That seems unexpected. On the other hand, it says Scorpio might be very surprised to discover that it's not that big of a heartbreak after all, or it's not that big of a disappointment after all. You know, sometimes situations aren't the best and we aren't making time for somebody because maybe in truth, they don't quite match with us, or they don't like the same things that we do. And so it's like, well, if we were going to be together, we're never going to be on the same page. They're never going to want to go on the family vacation. They don't want to travel. They don't want to do any of the things that I do. They don't want to come with me on a work trip. You know, all the things that Scorpio might have been willing to invite somebody in on, if they don't want to participate in that, which of course they don't have to, it might even be that Scorpio, after initially being sad, then goes, I'm not as sad as I thought I was going to be. Actually, it kind of feels more like a relief because maybe I wasn't with the right person. And I'm not saying that Scorpio is fickle. I'm just saying that somebody new seems to show up. Small TV, Bobby Harris. Great to hang with you guys tonight. It does look like there's somebody else coming in on the scene here, right? That King of Wands is here. That Seven of Pentacles. We have forward motion. We have maybe unexpected. I kind of think Scorpio is going to be shocked that they could maybe so swiftly wind up finding themselves attracted to a totally different person. And I don't think for an instant they went out and they were like, ooh, got to go find me somebody else. It's not like I look at it like that at all, but I still am going to say that's what it looks like is going to wind up happening. Hi, Glow. King of Pentacles. I actually think Scorpio is going to wind up in another relationship quite swiftly. And it could be with somebody who is more of a doer and a goer and, just somebody who fits into Scorpio's life a little bit better. I know he's a King of Wands here, but it's the same dude here as the King of Pentacles. And now we have two people in, photos together. It could feel like Scorpio goes from, I was trying to patch things up with somebody, we'd had our problems, but we were, on the path to reconciliation. And then instead they get fed up with, I guess the fact that I'm happy and my life has a lot of, spark to it. And they just didn't really want to patch things up with me after all to, it's not as bad as I thought to have this reconciliation come to a close, because honestly, it's a bit of a relief. And I'm meeting somebody else and I'm kind of realizing I can't believe I could fall for somebody else so swiftly. But it almost feels like maybe this was the path. Like, I almost think that previous relationship was a long, drawn out, difficult thing with, attempts at reconciliation, but kind of always awkward. Please remember, these are fictional stories about fictional characters. But it says that a situation maybe wasn't supposed to be reconciled because maybe Scorpio and this person didn't really jive. And maybe that's why it was this lengthy, drawn out, we're going to try to reconcile, but it never quite clicks. It was really a prolonged goodbye, not a reconciliation at all. And that might be the thing that is the best way to describe why this could be like, wow, I didn't see that coming, because maybe Scorpio didn't realize we weren't trying to reconcile. We were trying to say goodbye to each other and let each other go. And that can be confusing sometimes. You think you're trying to work on stuff when really you're working on closure. And then it's closed. And then that's when the realization hits. Like, that was our long goodbye, not a reconciliation. And the reason I think it clicks like that is because then Scorpio's like, wow, actually, it's okay that it's over. And in fact, there's somebody else. And in fact, I'm realizing that this new somebody feels like they really match me a lot better. And this new somebody is starting to feel like this was where I needed to go. Ace of Wands, Four of Pentacles. I kind of think that we have a lot of passion on the horizon. I think that we have a lot of love for our Scorpio. And I think Scorpio has more, let's say, free-spirited, passion, laughter, and they're realizing that the previous partner was someone who kind of either wanted Scorpio to be less of who Scorpio is, and the new partner is like all about matching Scorpio's energy. I think that the person of the past wanted Scorpio to like confine themselves more, be less exuberant, be less outgoing. I don't know if this person really wanted to like stay indoors and Scorpio's like somebody who wants to be outside all the time, or, Scorpio's a little bit more social or, into exploration. And they're like, I really would rather retreat and not deal with a lot of people. I just think Scorpio can see now that somebody was, a person of the past was kind of keeping Scorpio small and wanted Scorpio to like almost subdue their personality a little bit. I'm glad that's not what Scorpio ends up doing, because it doesn't seem like that would have suited our Scorpio. We have the Hermit. I kind of think this is something that Scorpio needs to, like contemplate, though, especially as they meet this new person, because it turns out there was a lot of like I say, the storyline is for what Scorpio doesn't see coming, right? But if they didn't see how someone's behavior like was trying to confine them or make them feel small, then that also might beg the question, okay, am I paying enough attention in my relationships to like, who do I really want to be with? Why do I want to be with someone? It feels a little like Scorpio could be a giver. We dropped the Hermit card. Scorpio could be a giver, and they want people to have a great life and they want to share their great life with people. And sometimes I wonder if Scorpio is really, really, really accepting of other people's, personality quirks and stuff like that, but to an extent where it kind of is a detriment. Like they're accepting personality quirks when really it's like, oh, wow, no, this person doesn't match me. Page of Cups, Three of Pentacles, and the Moon. I would definitely say that even with this new person coming into Scorpio's life, that seems like there's going to be passion and fun, there's still this nudge to go a little slow, not necessarily leap into saying that they love the new person, but really look for compatibility, because I keep thinking, even though this new person came out fantastic, right? We see them as, king energy, that looks amazing. But if Scorpio has a tendency to completely accept, like maybe gigantic craters of personal flaws in people, sometimes it's just be like, oh, that's just who they are. That's okay. It might be that Scorpio has to look at their very accepting nature just a little bit, because I feel like Scorpio can find something beautiful in every single person, to the extent that they don't ask, hang on, is this person really caring about my needs? Are we actually a good match? And I think this is not a flaw. This is a beautiful thing about Scorpio. They just accept people as they are, where they are, and they let people have their personality traits, and they just kind of chalk everything up to like, oh, that's just who they are. When in fact, Scorpio, perhaps it would behoove them to like let themselves be a little more picky and choosy. I want to say this as gently as I can, because this Scorpio is like somebody that I so enjoy. Like, this character is so likable. They seem to be somebody who's just like, they go with stuff and they allow people to be who they are. But I don't know that Scorpio is always getting the same thing in return. I feel like Scorpio like doesn't put a lot of pressure on people needing to conform in any way. But again, I don't know that Scorpio gets the same level of acceptance from everyone else. And if there are like deal breakers, I don't even know if Scorpio's like, you can't have so many like rules and regulations on everybody, because people have to be able to express themselves as they truly are. All of that is so amazing. But it does say, just be mindful, don't give one's heart, because there's a ton of great people out there that would love to be with Scorpio. So even this next new person that it looks like Scorpio is going to be really passionate about and they could have a really good time, we still don't want Scorpio to say, oh, this is the end all be all. is what this message is gently nudging Scorpio to just be discerning, though. They may be nuts about Scorpio, super passionate about Scorpio, amazing, but is Scorpio, are they really checking all the boxes? Is Scorpio getting everything that they want? Because if not, guess what? There's still more people up ahead for Scorpio to meet. So I'm not saying, like, it sounds so rude to say, oh, don't settle, keep your options open. I don't mean it like that. But when you're dealing with a Scorpio like we are in this storyline, who tends to just let people be exactly who they are without, they're not judgy. The Scorpio's like so very not judgy. But you got to be a little bit judgy, I think, to make sure that you're getting a true match for your energy. And we already saw evidence that Scorpio did not really demand much or expect much of compatibility from somebody else. And then at first it was like Scorpio's feelings were hurt, like, oh, they didn't want to be with me. And then it said they were actually trying to keep Scorpio small and they didn't really want Scorpio to be happy. And I'm kind of like, I don't like that person for Scorpio at all. So I hope that didn't come out rude, like, Scorpio, kick everybody to the curb. Nobody's good enough. It's not that. It's just Scorpio is so, I don't know, just like accepting of, people can be whoever they want to be, and Scorpio can still see the good in people. And this little gentle nudge said, just know, Scorpio, there's a lot more people on this planet. So pick the very best one that you really want. So anyway, I'm going to leave this one here. You guys, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate all of you. All right, you guys. Emma, thanks again. Great daying with you tonight. All right, you guys. Bad Rat, thanks for hanging in. Bye, guys. Take care. See you again soon.